which is, in what ways does your media product use, develop, and challenge real media products? So, as you can see, I made a look at the separate little slide, little title card saying what I've used, develop, and challenge. So what I've used is like the image and the codes and conventions of the image, also the background, promotional puff. What I developed were the side articles, or like some people call them like mini headlines, the price, and like the main headline, which supposed to attract the audience. And what I've challenged is the colour scheme of the genre that I'm implying, which is a drama / thriller, and also the masthead. So let's get into it. First of all, the image, which is what I've used. So the image mainly, what I wanted to go with was, since he's the antagonist in the film, I want him to look assertive, in power, in control. Therefore, you can see that he's an assertive character. Therefore, his clothing represents that. His, the dark body warmer, the dark, underlayer. Also the weapon, it shows power. It shows that he's in control. He's an assertive character. You can tell that he's like the villain in the film, since the film is marketed all over the magazine front cover. The inspirations which I found that really helped me out through this is the Empire magazine front cover with Superman. As you can see, his posture straight. He looks assertive. He looks in control. He looks straight down the camera, which is also what my character is doing. He's looking straight towards the camera to show his dominance, to represent that. And I can see Superman is doing that as well. His physique shows that he's like a very, very important and significant character. His his neat haircut, the muscular, side of things, it just clearly represents power and control, which is what I was trying to do through the image. Another example that I've used is image of Daniel Radcliffe for the. I think the film's called Imperium. I'm not sure, but as you can see, the antagonist is looking down at the camera. You've got that posture. You've got that physique. You can see, everything's symmetrical. He's not slouching. He's not he's not doing anything wrong. You're able to see his facial expression, which is very key. It shows an assertive manner. It represents his dominance clearly, which is what I intended to do. And if you go back to mine, you can see how similar it is, which is why I've used that type and that technique to showcase that through my magazine. Also, assertive character has got a token, like a symbol. You can see in here as Daniel Radcliffe, sorry. He's got the police badge, which represents, authority, control. You go back to the Superman. The suit itself, the S on the suit represents authority, represents power, significance. That he's the main part of the story. He's what the plot is surrounding. And linking back to my image that I've created, the token, the symbol, which represents, adds that control, adds that, the fear factor, is the gun that he's holding. You can see that UMP-45 on the back of his shoulder. It represents that, any moment now he could just pull that out and then bang, the guy's dead. That's what I'm trying to do with the image. I'm trying to create a story around it, rather than it just being there. The next is the background, which I've used. The inspirations from that were the Crime and Film magazine. As you can see, in my background is dark bluish. The reason behind that is to showcase that this magazine is to showcase the genre, mainly the genre of my trailer, the genre of my film. You're not going to use a dark background for a romantic comedy, are you? You're going to use vibrant colours and stuff like that. However, I've used a dark background to convey the genre of thriller / drama. The blue heavily represents, sadness, despair, people going through a rough time, and it could also, the dark shadows of blue could hint at, the bad things that happen. For example, the the hunting, but mainly dark background could also show a mysterious factor to it. As you can see in the Sherlock, magazine front cover, he's got that dark blue background, and it represents a form of mysterious because Sherlock is about, solving mysteries, that sort of stuff. But behind the mysteries, there's always that serial killer. There's always that missing piece to the puzzle. And, the blue heavily represents the mysterious factor, which is why I've used it as well, because I don't want to give the plot away. It's like, I'm not saying the magazine front cover is going to give the plot away, but it represents the genre really well, and it represents the trailer well, giving it justice. It shows that, this film means business. It's got, all the codes and conventions of it, and of being a drama / thriller. And the blue represents that a lot. It also makes the character, stand out a bit, and makes the image look very assertive, and makes the character outline it more. So the reader catches. It's clearly visible in what I'm trying to say. You also got this, Jason Bourne with, I think it's Matt Damon. You got that dark blue, represents the action-packed thriller-ish genre. You mainly see Bourne with a gun in his hand. The genre of the film, it also showcases what it's going to be about, since blue, the colour blue is heavily used, like the dark blue, to represent action, thriller, drama genres, those sort of movies. It's not going to be used to showcase, a bloody cartoon film, or like a Pixar film, that sort of stuff. It's just no point, because it goes against the conventions. The next element that I'm going to be talking about is the promotional puff, which I use, like the design of it and stuff like that. As you can see, the design of it is like turquoise, dark bluish with yellow background and like black writing inside, that sort of stuff. The promotional puff is mainly used to, it's a form of persuasion, informing the audience about extra content, which is the purpose that it contains within my magazine. As you can see, but going back again to the Total Film magazine with Jason Bourne, you can see that Assassin's Creed thing being advertised. It just shows to the audience that there's extra content in the magazine. There's extra, if you buy the magazine, you're going to get this and this and this, which is what they're trying to sell to you. But, you can see throughout that similar to the main colour scheme. So going back to my promotional puff, you can see that it's blue, yellow and black, which are the main colours throughout my magazine front cover. It's not going to be like red, green or whatever, because it would look unprofessional. So, the design of it is very unique and very professional in my eyes. And going on to this Sherlock Holmes promotional puff, you can see again, on-set TV special. It's just extra content, extra, free stuff, whatever. It's just matching the general, the basic codes and conventions of a magazine and what it should have. I mean, not every magazine has that, but, the ones that do, match it really well, which is why I've used it as well. The reason I put it in the bottom left hand corner was because I didn't want it to have such a big significance and catch the reader's eye so much. I didn't want the reader to focus it on that. But as you can see, the design of it I used from this Total Film with Angelina Jolie. I think the film's called Malevolent. I can't remember, but you can see that yellow box, the black writing inside, and the content being there. It's pretty much the same as mine. Mine contains that similar theme, whereas the Angelina Jolie from magazine from cover, the numbers are yellow, whereas mine are black. And then the next, the development stage. So what have I developed but used at the same time? So let's go through that. Main title is key in attracting the audience and showcasing what's the big piece within the magazine that they're going to be attracted to. So my main title is Day by Day, and you got the quote, stereotypes are going to be challenged. You see the font of that is it doesn't look like a thriller / drama, but it has those conventions in a way, because you got that it just matches with the image, which you assume instantly that it's got those conventions. However, it's got like action, because within the film there's always a bit of action, but there's not as much as, you know, an action film in general. So as you can see, the font is white and stuff like that. That's just to, you know, match the colour scheme and, you know, maintain consistency. And then the next image what I'm going to show you is like where I've used it and how I've, like, you know, applied it. As you can see, like, it's in the middle of the magazine front cover, and going back to this Angelina Jolie magazine front cover, you can see epic blockbuster issue, and below he's got different content. I've applied that same technique, you know, putting it into the centre to showcase that, you know, all the content's in the middle, it's not going to be all over the place, you know, professionalism, consistency, which is how I developed it. It matches, like, you know, the codes and conventions of the magazine front cover, because masthead is in the middle, and that's where you expect it to be. And, you know, going to this Sherlock masthead, you can see that it's in the middle. It's got that white contrasting with the blue, which is another reason why, you know, it's got that. Another reason is why the font of it, so not the colour, the font of it, the style of it, is so different, is because I want it to stand out, to showcase that this is the main headline. This is what the big piece, like the big puzzle piece inside the magazine, what you're going to read about, what you're going to find entertaining. Like the whole day by day, the separation is very good, and it's it almost has that, like, let's say, Taken vibe to it, if you get what I mean, which is like a thriller slash genre film, mainly thriller, I think. As you can see, I've explained why. So the purpose of the main headline is to attract and catch the reader's eye. The main headline develops the codes and conventions. It has a unique theme to it, which is, like I said, like the slant of it and like the style of the lettering is very unique. Even though the whole genre of the magazine is to have the codes and conventions of a thriller slash drama, sorry, I forgot to put that, the headline makes it seem as if the film contains action. So like I explained, the action is there within the film. It's got the themes, it's got the codes and conventions, but it develops it by having the action theme to it, having the action, like the slant to it and stuff like that. The next one would be side articles. Now, side articles are very key in there. They are behind the image. The reason they're behind the image is because you don't want anything to interfere with the image, which is the main codes and conventions. Because if you do, then you're going against it and it looks unprofessional. In my eyes, I tried it and I didn't like the look of it, which is why I put it behind the image. You can see nothing, literally nothing, is touching the image, except, you know, I mean, what's around the head of my, let's say, antagonist, Josh Kelly. The side articles, the quote, and the montage are all behind him to show that he's like a significant character in this. The side articles, the inspiration I took from that was the Superman, the Empire Superman magazine. You can see the side articles like Iron Man 3, Lone Ranger, Wolverine, they're all behind him to represent authority. It's as if he's got authority over text. It's as if he's got, like, the control within this magazine front cover to represent that he's the main focus, nothing else. So eliminating the side articles, the extra content. As you can tell from here, we've also got Blade Runner. You know, that's got nothing to do with the genre that I'm, you know, targeting. But once again, it just proves that I'm developing it because of the amount of content I've got around it within my magazine front cover. As you can see, Superman, right? He has the titles, but he doesn't have, like, the explanation, like the extra bits. So, like, mine says, Josh Kelly starring Day by Day, nominated for Best Drama. Then you got the quote at the top. And you got that stuff at the bottom content which says Black Panther takes 1 billion, blah blah blah. Here it's just got the titles of the film and the titles of the film, really. Then you've got the next one is Blade Runner. So you got Blade Runner, you got the main title, and then you got one side article which says everything you need to know about Black Panther. One side article on the whole page. That just showcases how, like, my magazine develops and challenges doesn't challenge to an extent that, you know, it goes completely against. It just develops because, like, I'm giving more to the audience than I should. You've got that bottom content at the end where he's got the plus sign, and then you can see Sight and Sound with I think it's Get Out. Yeah, it's Get Out. You can see the images really like, you know, tell the story just to showcase what's within the magazine. And then you got the what year is this? The films of 2017. So this is mainly just like you got the main headline, you got the masthead, but you don't have the side articles, except they're at the bottom and very small. Whereas mine, going back again, they're around the image. You can see them. You can see that, you know, the designer of the magazine is trying to not shove it into the face, but to create the form of recognition, to show that, you know, here it is, notice it. So again, you know, this is something similar. You know, the Fast and Furious image, the Entertainment Weekly, with Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. You've got the side articles on the left, and you've got the side articles on the right to show, you know, extra content. And as you can see, my magazine contains similar themes and similar conventions to this. It's the most relatable, what I'm trying to say. This is the most relatable to my magazine front cover. And then the next one is the price. The price is very unique because the price of the magazines, like for example like Empire and stuff like that, is very expensive. The common price per Empire is like $4.99, and the special editions are above price, as you can see here, £38 for a magazine. Like personally, I wouldn't spend that much. You can see $4.99 for like a general issue, like The Last Jedi or whatever. My magazine is $2.99, because I felt that, you know, because I'm not to be rude and not to be, you know, insult anyone, but like I'm part of like the middle class, so I see myself, you know, I would rather pay $2.99. Well, I mean, everyone would pay cheaper, but I see it as more reasonable for the amount that you get, like the content and stuff like that, which is why I set it at that price rather than $4.99. My magazine is mainly targeted at like a working class, like middle class audience who are like, you know, liberals and etc. stuff like that. Since it's more affordable, in my opinion, I wouldn't pay over £5 for an issue. Therefore, my magazine is more affordable due to the price of it being only $2.99. And then that's mainly it about price, and that's how it like develops That's what's in the developing category. So next is challenge. So what I'm challenging is, with a magazine, what challenges, you know, the codes and conventions of the specific genre, which is drama and thriller, is firstly the colour scheme. The colour scheme, right, as you can see, is... So let's get this straight. The genre of my magazine is thriller/drama. And what you would expect for a thriller/drama genre is, you know, black, white, red, grey, you know, that sort of stuff. However, I went with a more, you know, stylistic approach to it. I wanted it to go against the codes and conventions, which is why it's yellow and like turquoise and, you know, dark blue and white. The inspiration of it, right, is this magazine, Total Film, which is once again Angelina Jolie. However, the genre of that compared to like the genre of this magazine, which is I think it's like Disney non-fictional, like fairy tale sort of stuff. However, mine is like a drama/thriller, so you can see how those colours are used for like a fairy tale non-fictional, you know, movie, whereas mine are used for a drama/thriller, which is because I wanted it to go against. I wanted to give that look of, you know, mysteriousness and like a weird feel to it. It makes it seem more professional, more unique, in a way that, you know, you got the yellow representing the positive side, and you got the blue representing that sadness. So the blue is mainly used to represent, let's say, like the dark times in the film, or let's just say in the trailer, and like the dark blue background heavily represents that. You can see, like, it's got that mix of violence and then happiness. Total Film, you got that dark blue background, that yellow popping around through different sections, and then you also got that blue. And then this is like a little title card, just saying, how I've challenged it, which is the colour scheme was inspired by this film magazine. However, the way I challenged it was very unique, since the colour scheme from the film magazine doesn't represent a drama/thriller genre, whereas mine does, which is why it completely and utterly challenges, the conventions of a drama/thriller magazine. And as you can see here, these are the typical drama/thriller, action magazine front covers. You got your greys, your whites, your blacks, your reds, just like in the Senpai magazine with Johnny Depp, and then this In Motion with this random guy, what the title's called, Delirium. Well, you can see where I'm coming from. And going back to it, you can see clearly how it challenges that. And then we've got the masthead, which is, in my opinion, also challenges, because the design of the masthead is stretched across the page, right? But many magazine front covers, right, they don't have the borders around it. So you can see you got that yellow and blue lines on top and the bottom of the magazine. Add like a unique design to it, so it showcases that, it's my personal design. However, you can see like throughout different genre, like throughout different magazines, you don't mainly have like little design, like little lines going across to to make the masthead stand out, which is why it's so going against the code, like the typical codes and conventions of the magazine. And that's mainly it. But also you've got the basic codes and conventions, like the price tag, the website being marketed, produced, and the barcode, which represents, which uses the basic codes and conventions of a film magazine. And that's mainly it for my little voiceover now. So yeah, thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.